Hello, welcome. So today, because I figured that there would probably be less people live, what I want to do is I wanted to teach you how to come up with your own tapping script. So I'll just do a little basic review of what EFT tapping is, just in case you're new, or if you're a seasoned tapper, this will be a really great video to share with your friends that maybe don't know what tapping is, but could really use the help and support of tapping right now. If you're a seasoned tapper, you know that we are all really leaning on this technique right now, and how helpful it is during times like this. And so I just want to encourage you to pass this along to your friends if you think this will be useful to them. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to tell you is what tapping is. So tapping is a clinically proven method. It combines cognitive psychology and self-applied acupressure. We use our own fingers to touch different points of the body. And what that touch does is it sends a flood of serotonin to the amygdala, which is the body's fight or flight system. And so in doing this, it calms stress and anxiety. It calms fears. It is clinically proven to help people overcome anxieties, addictions, traumas. They're using it for PTSD patients in hospitals and people that have come back from war very successfully. I'm known for using these methods and a lot of my own specifically for emotional eating and for weight release. But I've been using this technique since I was a teenager, and we can use it for pretty much anything. So this technique comes in really handy for times like this when there's a lot of stress and anxiety, and you want to be able to calm yourself down. You want to be able to calm your nervous system down without having to take prescription drugs or without having to just deal with it. A lot of people are recommending meditation right now, and meditation I know is great, but many people find it hard to quiet their mind. And so what I love about tapping, it's basically like an active form of meditation that quiets your brain for you. So I'm gonna actually teach you how to do that today. So all of these thoughts that are going through our heads, right? These are very scary times. Everybody's feeling very uncertain right now. There's a lot of fears and anxieties. And to be able to quiet our minds through meditation is practically impossible unless you've been meditating, or you've been sitting on a hill like a monk meditating for a long time. And so what this process does is it allows us to clear out those negative thoughts so we can then insert positive thoughts. Okay, and we're going to do that together. So I'm going to first show you where all the tapping points are. And then we'll get more into the nuts and bolts of today's video. Okay, so the very first point is called the karate chop point. You can use either part of your hand, okay? And you want to tap just maybe 8 to 10 times in each spot. So that's the first spot. It's like literally the place you would use to make a karate chop. Then the next is the beginning of the eyebrow. Some people tap in the middle of the forehead. That's totally fine. You don't have to worry about getting this perfect because as you tap, you're going to get the right spot. Then the next point is the outside of the eye, under the eye, under the nose, under the base of the lip, right where the chin indents, collarbone, which is just right outside the base of your throat. You'll feel 2 little knobby points. Under your arm, which is, if you're a woman, it's where your bra line goes. It's about a hand width down from the base of your armpit. So it's about where your bra reaches the side of your body. Sorry, I'm trying to, right there. And then tippy top of the head is the last one. Okay, so that's the 9-point system. Basically what we do is we just tap on all those 9 points while we're saying, we're speaking our thoughts, or we're saying affirmations, okay? The very first thing that we do when we tap is we address the negative emotions, we address the negative feelings. And one of the reasons that tapping is so effective is because it allows us to address what we're feeling inside rather than covering it up with positive affirmations. A lot of people these days have heard of meditation and positive affirmations, and a lot of people can't get those two things to work. And what I have found by using tapping is that when you tap, it actually makes you like a super attractor. It can quiet your mind so that you can just feel nothing but calm and peace. You feel sort of like a Jedi master at times. It also makes you a super attractor when you're wanting to manifest and use law of attraction to, or use positive affirmations to attract the things that you want, because it clears out the negative chatter. So it's obviously very hard. A lot of people have heard about vibration at this point in the world. And, we use terms like her vibe was just off, or I really liked the vibe of this guy, right? So we all know that we have a vibration, and we've heard that as we vibrate on a higher and better level, that we attract better and better things into our lives, right? And so what I have found is by using tapping to clear out the negative chatter, it lifts my vibration so that then I'm able to use positive affirmations and attract the things that I want in a really, really easy, effortless way. Whereas I find that people that just use meditation or positive affirmations tend to struggle a lot more than the people that I know who use tapping and those other methods. Okay, so those are just a couple of reasons to use tapping and why we do it. So we always start a tapping session. So when you're going to do this, the other reason that I love this technique so much is because it's self-applied. You can do it to yourself, which means that no matter what is going on in the world, no matter what you're feeling, no matter what you're experiencing, you have a tool to help yourself feel better. Okay. I grew up in a pretty harsh environment, and I'm with a lot of PTSD, as many people have, and the thing that I leaned on the most was this technique, because a lot of times I just felt like shit and I didn't know why, and I didn't want to wait till my therapy session to figure it out. And so this is one of those things that you can. These are one of those tools that you can use in the moment to calm yourself down, to clear something. And to really heal yourself, so that you don't have to just sit and struggle and feel a bunch of pain. Okay. So whenever we're starting a session, we start by identifying our feeling. Okay. And sometimes this is hard for people. And so I've come up with a new strategy, to figure out how you're feeling about something and how to come up with the words. So the biggest question, once people start to tap, is, well, I don't know what to say. How do I know what to say? Okay. So one of the ways that you can figure out what to say is answer this question. Okay. And we're going to use the coronavirus example right now. So, please, if you're on this chat, thank you. I see some of you that are on live. Thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Chris. So if you are able to help me be like a little bit interactive with this video, that would be awesome. I would really appreciate your help. So I want you to answer this question. Coronavirus means what? Type it in the chat, okay? And when I do this, I actually set a timer on my phone. I put my phone in airplane mode and I set a timer for about 10 minutes. And I just write out what that thing means. Okay. So the fight with my boyfriend means, or I just lost my job and that means, right? Okay. So you want to actually use sentences. So, Rosemary, uncertainty, that's the feeling, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But right now, what we want to do is we want to come out with, we're trying to dump the thoughts from your brain. Okay. So I did some of my own today on the coronavirus and what the coronavirus means to me. And, hopefully this can help give you some ideas. So coronavirus means people will get sick. People will die. Jobs will be lost. The economy will suffer. Medical workers will be overwhelmed. People I love could get sick. I could get sick. I could lose people I love. I could lose my income. I can't trust things I used to trust. I don't know what to trust anymore. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know how or when we're going to get through this. Okay, so these were some of my things that I came up with today. And what I want to, so like I have a huge list of things. Okay, so I want to actually encourage you to get like a pen and a piece of paper and write this out. There's actually, the healing actually starts when you put the pen to paper. So some people, I mean, if you don't have a pen and a piece of paper, then you don't have to do this. You can do it with your phone. But the healing actually starts, your brain actually will start to dump a lot of this negativity when you just put the pen to paper. This is why a lot of people suggest journaling, which journaling is very, very basic. And tapping is like journaling on steroids. So, but start here because I love using this as a way to just clear my mind and to get all my thoughts on the page. Okay. So Teresa says means a possible loss of income. Carrie says isolation. It means an excuse to be lazy and eat badly. Ellen says distance from friends and family. Coronavirus means fear. Okay, so Marie, coronavirus meaning fear, that's actually not what you're thinking in your head, okay? You're thinking something that's causing, the fear is the emotion, okay? Which you're right, we're gonna get to that in a minute, but I want you to come up with the sentences. So I want you to redo that. Coronavirus means, and then give me a full sentence on what it means, okay? Give me 10 sentences on what it means. It means, you know, I could lose my job. It means that, you know, people I love could get sick. It means that, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. It means that, you know, tomorrow I could wake up and the world could collapse. You know, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm hopefully not making anybody more anxious than you already are, but I want you to, this is what we're thinking in our heads. And a lot of people aren't even aware of what they think. Okay. So this is a really good way to just get clarity first on what you're actually thinking and how you're actually feeling. Okay. Yeah, it means we can all get sick and lose income. I'm so afraid that I will drink too much. Carrie, if you are on here, watch the video from yesterday where we tap for emotional eating, because I talk the same technique you can use for drinking, and I give it away for free in that video. So watch yesterday's videos too. It means I have to watch my steps. Okay. It means a threat to the life of my elderly mother. I could get sick. I could lose my future income. It means it could be worse for everyone than it should be due to lack of planning in the US. More people will die and so on. Yeah. Okay. So you want to keep going and so on and so on and so on. You want to just keep going. It means I cannot visit my son who's abroad. Okay, great. These are really, really great. Okay. So you can see how everybody has, Maria says we have time to rest and be open and be creative. Okay. So I'm feeling very similar. I go through waves of feeling really sad for everything that's happening, and then I feel really grateful for the space, right? So everybody's having a different experience right now. Okay, so I really want to encourage you to spend some time with this and to write out what this means for you, and have a list. Go for 10 minutes, okay? Put a timer on for 10 minutes and just write and write and write. And what I notice is the last 3 or 4 sentences will hit you really deep. Like, those will be the deep things that, like, oh my gosh, this is really hitting me hard. And so I just want to encourage you to start there. Okay. And then as you look at this list, what the next step is to decide what you're feeling, what the emotion is. Okay. So the emotions can be fear, sadness, anger, anxiety, betrayal, grief. So these are the emotions. I'm going to we have a whole list of emotions that we give our coaches. I'm going to find it and I can post it in the video below, to help you identify the emotions. Okay. Now you might have a lot of different emotions. You might have, fear and anxiety and anger and betrayal. Okay. But what we have to do with tapping is we want to take the strongest emotion and work on that first, okay? So this works best when you go one emotion at a time. And it might seem like there's so many emotions, but I want you to identify the strongest one. So if you're here, please, right now, type in what's your strongest emotion right now. Is it fear? Is it anxiety? What are the strongest feelings? Okay, you might be feeling a lot of things, but what are the biggest feelings right now? On a scale from 0 to 10, how strongly are you feeling those? So this is how we measure our results with tapping, is that we give everything a 0 to 10 scale. So 0 means nothing, no trigger at all, and 10 is the highest it could possibly be. So let's just do some tapping together on that. Michelle's anger due to work at a 10. Okay, cool. Yeah, so see, everybody's emotions are going to be a little bit different. So we'll just do fear. Okay, we'll just start with fear right now, and we'll all do some tapping together. And Carrie has anxiety. Okay, so if you have anxiety or if you have anger, I want you to tune into what your emotions are right now, okay? All right, and we're gonna start tapping on the karate chop point. And this is always the statement. The statement is, even though I have this emotion, whatever the emotion is. So even though I have this fear, even though I have this anxiety, even though I have this anger, I completely love and accept myself, okay? Or you can say, I choose to relax and feel calm, okay? Or you can say, I accept myself and I accept these feelings, okay? So tapping on the karate chop point, even though I have this fear about the coronavirus, I accept myself and I accept these feelings. That feels better to me than I completely love and accept myself. Sometimes when people say I completely love and accept myself, especially when they're super, super triggered, it kind of just doesn't land. And so for me personally right now, I'm feeling like I'm accepting myself and I'm accepting these feelings. That feels a lot more true, and I can actually feel my body relax better than I can if I say I love and accept myself, which I do love and accept myself, but I accept myself, and these feelings is feeling like I actually can feel myself take a little deep breath when I say that, okay? So tapping on the karate chop point, even though I have all this fear about the coronavirus, I accept myself and these feelings, okay? And follow along and tap along with me if you wanna clear this. And you're gonna repeat this same statement 3 times. Even though I'm having all this fear about the coronavirus, I accept myself and I accept my feelings. Even though I have all this fear about the coronavirus, I accept myself and I accept my feelings. You first start off with the emotion, this fear. This fear about the coronavirus. This fear. And then you can start to look at your list, and this is where you can start to use the sentences. This is where you start to clear that negative thought, all those negative emotions and those thoughts that are going through your brain. This is when you start to clear it and heal it, okay, as you tap. So for me, it's people will get sick. People will die. Jobs will be lost. The economy will suffer. Medical workers will be overwhelmed. People I love could get sick. And then again, remind yourself why you're tapping the emotion, this fear. This fear. What if I get sick? What if somebody I love gets sick? All this fear. All this fear. I don't know what to trust. I don't know who to trust. I can't trust the things I used to trust. All this fear. Okay, and when you see yourself, so I just naturally took a little breath there, And when you notice yourself breathe like that, you might yawn. Some people start crying. That's actually your body's way of releasing the negative energy and then the stress. That's your cortisol going down. That's the serotonin hitting your amygdala and shutting off your fight or flight, okay? So I just want everybody to check in, take a nice deep breath. And then you want to go back to back to the same feeling, the same emotion, and give that a number again on a scale from 0 to 10. Now, you might have a tendency to want to shift into another emotion, right? Because when you first started this, there were probably several emotions on top of each other. But if you shift into another emotion, you'll feel like if we started on fear and then we move to anxiety, your fear could be lower, but your anxiety could be higher. And so you won't think you made a difference. So you always want to go back to the original emotion that you started with. Okay. So I started with fear, you started with anger or anxiety. So give that a number on a scale from 0 to 10 and type me in the chat if you're here live. Alana says 3 out of a 10 now. Awesome. Wow. That was really fast. So I think you're at an 8 or a 10 before. So then as soon as you get a pulse on the where you're at now, then you want to do the exact same thing again, but you're going to change the phrase just a little bit. Nell said she's a 7, now she's a 4. Megan says she's a 4 where she was a 10. Awesome. Okay, great. So now go back again to the fear, tune into the fear, the anxiety, or whatever the beginning emotion was. Okay. And now this time we're going to use the phrase remaining. So even though I have this remaining fear about the coronavirus, I accept myself and I accept these feelings. Okay, Carrie, so if your anxiety went up, so your anxiety went down, but now your fear is up, you want to stay with the anxiety, okay? So a lot of people will want to move from, oh, okay, well, my anxiety went away, but now I feel this fear. No, you want to make sure that you get your anxiety down to at least a 2 or below before you move on to the next thing, okay? So I'll address that with you in a second, but I want to clear out this remaining fear, okay? So go back to the karate chop point, and we're going to use the statement, even though I still have this remaining fear about the coronavirus, I accept myself and I accept these feelings. Even though I still have this remaining fear about the coronavirus, I accept myself and I accept my feelings. Even though I still have this remaining fear about the coronavirus, I accept myself and I accept my feelings. Okay, and then just tapping through the points, all you have to say is this remaining fear. This remaining fear. This remaining fear, or whatever your emotion is. This remaining fear. This remaining fear. And you can go back to your list, and there might be some things that when you read it, you're like, actually that doesn't really bother me that much anymore, but this sentence really does, or these sentences really do, okay? So use this list as an example so that you can always go back to it and see, okay, well, I'm stuck at home and I'm feeling bad. That's the thing that, I'm afraid that this is going to last for a really long time, okay? Or I don't know when this is going to be over. I'm afraid that this will never end, or I'm afraid this is going to, mean months and months of me being out of work. Okay. So it could shift from one thing to another, but it's still fear. Does that make sense? All right. So, this remaining fear, this remaining fear, this remaining fear, this remaining fear. And I'm just saying this remaining fear because I don't have more sentences for myself right now. So when you go back to your list, you'll probably still have some remaining sentences. So you can alternate between saying this remaining fear and then a couple of your sentences, and then go back to this remaining fear and then use a couple of your sentences. So you want to, with each round of tapping, you constantly want to remind yourself what emotion to focus on, because your brain will sometimes want to go from fear to anxiety, or from fear to sadness, or from anxiety to anger, okay? And so you want to always bring yourself back and remind yourself every couple of sentences that you're saying one of those sentences that you were dumping out of your brain. You want to go back and remind yourself the emotion that you're tuning into, okay? All right, so take a nice deep breath here. And again, go back to how you're feeling. Go back to the original emotion, okay? And on a scale from 0 to 10, notice how strong that is, the original emotion. Now, again, you may have other emotions that have come up, but go back to the original emotion and tell me your number on a scale from 0 to 10. How strong is that emotion? Okay, and so then the very next thing that you do is you do the exact same thing with the next feeling and the next emotion, okay? So then you want to go back and say, okay, so maybe my fear is gone, but now I feel sad, okay? And if you want, you can, again, make a new page and go with your pen and piece of paper and write out, you know, coronavirus means, and then all of the sad phrases will come out, okay? All of the sadnesses means that, you know, I'm sad for the people in Italy that are dying. I'm sad for the people in China. I'm sad for, you know, all the people that will struggle here. I'm sad for, you know, because I'm gonna miss all my coworkers. I'm sad because I'm gonna be stuck at home with my kids. You know, whatever it is, just write it all out, okay? And then you want to start this process again from the beginning. To watch this video again, just click the share button. That saves it to your wall, and then you'll always know where to find it.